Hey fam, welcome back to another episode of Talk That Talk. My name is Lynn and I am the host and creator of Talk That Talk. So I am elated to be introducing this guest. She is, first of all, a phenomenal soul. She is an amazing artist, a person with so much wisdom and knowledge and who shares it freely. So of course I'm speaking of none other than the one who sings, Zolani, Mahola.
In vernac.
Yeah.
Is I'm encouraged by it. I want him to do it more. Especially because the sense I get when I hear him singing is that it comes from a deep place. I actually almost don't care about I care about what it feels like to me.
For me, it's refreshing to hear that. And I question it, but I try not to question his reality as well. And that's why I want to ask him these questions, not to provoke him.
To understand.
Yeah. And I think that's something that that is something that I've been trying to do, is understand other people's narratives as well. Because if I'm just gonna go through the world with my own reality, it's fine. I do validate myself, and I am me moving in this space. But my planet is also, orbiting others, and my energies infiltrating other energies.
I think that's fascinating because he presents as a young white male. We don't know how he identifies himself.
And I think for me it's great to be able to ask that question. How do you present?
That's the gift of what you're doing. And that's the gift of I realized about you. Yeah, this guy was going in that whole interview that I was doing with these guys in the morning. 3 of them. It took me about 15 years to realize what an important space it is being interviewed. What a clarifying space it is, because often yes, you get the same old questions, but sometimes there are questions that really actually afford me or afford the person who's being interviewed or questioned a space to clarify. And it took me ages to I for a long time I saw it as like a duty. I saw it as like a oh god, another fucking interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something I have to do. But it's actually a gift. That space it's a real gift for both parties, for the interviewer, for the interviewee.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to tell your own story.
Yeah.
Not to see and hear your words being twisted, because we twist, because how else, that's my perception. That's how I've perceived something. So if you tell me something, you're not in control of how I am going to perceive that. The words come out, and once they're out, they're out. But I'm not going to tell your story. You are actually allowed to tell your own story. And it's really beautiful for me to see you tell your own story, and empowering as well for me.
to know that I can do the same. And hopefully in 15 years or something like that, I'm being interviewed and the next person is saying, I can do that. It's just this beautiful line of...
That's right. I've been wanting to say something to you. This question of empowering oneself as opposed to empowering others. I heard something that I don't really understand fully yet. Somebody said you can't empower anybody else. You can't actually, can't empower somebody else like I have empowered this person. Like everybody empowers themselves. That is actually that's the definition of empowerment. Empowerment is not something that you bestow on somebody. That's actually, it can be very disempowering. For me to now think I'm going to empower you. I don't understand it fully yet, and it's just something that is like in my mind. I think there's something that you sense in it is empowering yourself. It's all for you. It's all for you. You're living this life for you, to show yourself the magnificence of this life, and in your enjoyment and in your realization of yourself, in your expression of yourself, through that process, other people are empowered as a byproduct. It's not the aim.
So I am interrupting today's episode with the one who sings Zolani Mahola to remind you all of my performance this Sunday. As part of the Endler online concert series, I will be performing with pianist Jose Diaz, and I will be performing a viola recital with works from Bach, Hofmeyr, Boulanger and Clark. So if you would like to listen to me playing with the collaborative pianist Jose Diaz, it's this Sunday, 15th of November at 4 o'clock. Information can be found on my Instagram at Lynn.Daphne.Rudolph or at SUConserve. And if that's too much information, then you can go online at endler.com. Thank you.
It is about when I set boundaries with people who are not aware of personal boundaries or aware of bodily boundaries, they take offense because it's embarrassing for you to tell me that I crossed a boundary. It's my ego that was now shattered because my pride, there it goes. I'm so embarrassed, and it's like, okay, but victim, relax. Just take 2 breaths and just realize that if I'm not going to tell you that you've crossed a boundary, whose boundaries am I? Like, who's going to be the person who's violating my boundaries? Me. I'm violating my own boundaries.
100%.
And that thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's this constant puzzle of trying to, make yourself happy, but not happy, keep yourself at peace, but also know when to resist.
Yes.
And when to be like, you know what, actually I need to now be provocative. And
yes. As long as that resistance doesn't hurt you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, as somebody who cares.
Thank you.
For me, what I wonder and I hope for you is that you're able to navigate in these spaces, in a way that like still maintains your peace, actually. Regardless of whether you get resistance, regardless of whether you get, people's egos bruised or whatever, that you're able to share that enlightenment and able to share that knowledge, because it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift,
Okay.
That's a way of seeing it, that you're bringing a candle where there was darkness. Where there was imprisonment. You're like, look, here's a light without it being a burden for you, without it feeling like it's like you're doing the twice labor.
Yeah. I never. I sometimes think of myself in those same stereotypes as, am I coming across as too angry? And then I think like
that's the real stick that you've just hit upon. It's all the things that it's touching the beliefs that we have.
That internalized.
That's it. Yeah. And that's why it hurts so much. And that's why it's like, that's what we're bumping up against. Yeah.
Yeah. Our own egos.
That's what we're bumping up against.
Yeah, but like, part of what, actually yesterday's conversation it ended in quite a positive note, because I could actually speak with this white person, and she said, yeah, it just takes us to be aware of the privileges that we've had, because and she said, I benefited from apartheid, and to get to that point, I also in myself, and I know that I have personal prejudices, but I assume that a lot of white people have not gotten to that point because I'm supposed to be born free.
Yes.
But I've not even had people, and a lot of, or majority people, who've been able to say, I benefited from apartheid, that's it. Because to admit that then is so, it encompasses so much shit.
Yeah.
So then I have to constantly be on guard of this. I'm in this space where somebody might just be thinking, but I'm not going to take you seriously because... And then I have to almost, and when she said that, and we could start from literally step one, it was so amazing to converse with her. And she asked things like, but I don't understand blackface. Can you maybe explain this to me? We went into cultural appropriation. Later the evening we were speaking about, gender and sexuality and all this. And she came to me and she said, I've had such a positive experience with you. That for me was like, I can...
Wow.
A massive sigh of relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Completely.
There is a lot of work to do, and I often feel myself I've been realizing and sitting with a lot of my own anger at the injustice. Fuck, man, the injustice that our people have suffered. Our peoples have suffered. And I'm constantly, it's interesting, I've been sitting with questions of, what is my work for? If I want to show black pain, who am I showing it to? Am I showing it, who's my audience? Is my audience, am I trying to do the work of, changing that Tanya's mind? You know what I mean? And so that she can get to this point of seeing her privilege and seeing how fucked up the society is, and sitting with anger and just the unfairness of it. And I don't know. I mean, I have no answers. I have no answers. Except that I've been thinking more and more. Maybe the work is for myself. Maybe the work is for myself, and I'm not trying to show why you should. And that's hard. It's a struggle because I am so aware of so many people's minds that needs to be changed, and feeling like I have a platform, I have a voice, I have experience that can help to change this. But while I'm still sitting with the anger and I don't know, Lynn, I don't have any answers. It's big.
It's fucked up. It's one massive fucking mess.
It's big. It's really big. Yeah.
It is. It is a base, but I would like just to hop on what you said about, are we doing the work, asking myself, am I doing the work to change white men? Am I doing the work to change white people?
Right?
No.
Yeah.
And then I remember and I remind myself, you are here to empower your people. That's it. And by you empowering yourself, you empower your people.
Yeah.
And part of this entire, conversation series that I have is now a business.
Yes.
And I, sort of trade with black-owned businesses. And the first business that's on my list is the Kunjani Wines. And it's the first female black-owned winery in South Africa from Carmen Stevens. Literally 10 minutes from my house. And I didn't even know that it was there because, you kind of go on autopilot or I went on autopilot of, okay, let's just go to P.H.N.E. I went to study in Stellenbosch, so we're just going to go to a wine farm in Stellenbosch, and they're not realizing my money's political. If I'm going to fund white people, then I know better. I'm just actually, I'm not talking the talk but not walking the walk, So I decided I'm going to put my money where my mouth is because my mouth has been all places talking the most cuck, and I'm going to support my people. And it's been so liberating when I went to Kunjani Wines, and I've been there now I think twice. The first time was just to take my mother and my sister out, and this was actually my mother's birthday. So I planned an entire black-owned female day. It was amazing. So we went to Coco Vogue. This is in Durbanville, like close to Tiger Valley side.
Yeah.
And we got our feet done, our nails done. Just being in that environment where you saw black people, you saw your people. Nobody was looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing? Because those are your people. And I spoke with everyone, and I just felt, okay, so when I am in spaces where I'm represented, I don't need to fight. I don't need to put on anything because this is home, man. Don't need to sit up straight. But this is my mense, man. Hello. Drink a coffee. Don't you want some champagne? Oh, you guys are right here. I'm like, yes, sister. Fatty market tea. Like, we home.
Yeah.
And that's how we are. Like, our community is like that. And we went from that place to Kunjani. Same thing.
Yeah.
Person was like, nee man, go in. You hear your language. I don't hear Afrikaans from Jan van Riebeeck.
Yeah.
I hear Boekhaps Afrikaans.
Yeah.
And then I say, ja man, dankie. Hy vir julle nie nog kon drinkie. Soek julle nog iets. This is most probably like 4 or 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
But this, body also deserves to be in those spaces.
Sure.
And spaces that are owned by my people. And I will support that. And just after that day, we went back, took the whole family, the same experience. It was like, okay, so this is actually just what needed to change. I needed to change the things that I was supporting. And through that now, I filmed at Kunjani, the Coco Vogue, hopefully will have partnership as well. And I'm trying to just create a network of black-owned businesses that we know who to support because we want to support one another.
Yes.
But P.H.N.E. is quicker. We know that wine because it's in Pick and Pay.
Yes.
But the new generation, we have Instagram.
Yeah.
We have highlights. You can go that. You just name your highlight black-owned business and I can go. We have Instagram pages.
Yeah.
2 ticks, I put it on my story. You know where to go.
Yes.
And that's what I love about social media and just being able to quickly create and quickly tell something where it's like, okay, cool. So you went there. I'm also, of your community. Where do I go if I want to, if I need to go to a queer-friendly place?
Yeah.
2 seconds, you know where to go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Great.
Yeah. So slowly but surely, I think if we start supporting one another, because we're in the majority, it feels like a minority because you don't see people. I don't hear my language all the time, so I feel like I'm sometimes in the minority. But then I remember, if 76% of this country supported me, oh, where would I be? I don't need that other percent. That they can do the wildest cuck. They can live in Oranje. It's fine. Oranje doesn't bother me. I don't want whatever the fuck is happening there because me
I don't want whatever the fuck is happening there.
some sort of ghost related thing is there. You can have your plus cookies. I will have my black oat wine. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
With its fabulous Shiraz as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I actually want to ask you
Yeah.
as well. So, what was it like on this topic? You obviously grew up during the apartheid system, or in the apartheid system, and when you were with Freshly Ground, I know that you're obviously now on your own and doing a solo album, and it's amazing, first of all. But just to take it into that time, what Freshly Ground meant for me
Yeah?
as a young colored person.
Yeah. What year were you born?
I was born in 96.
Okay. Okay.
And I grew up with you and
Yes.
hearing your voice,
Yes.
and it was always like,
So when Freshly Ground was really starting to, because we started in 2002, I'm just trying to just map out how old
yeah.
you would have been when we really started. So 2005, 6 was in our second album, was like, and that was Nomvula the Big Doobie Doo.
yeah.
2010, you were around 10. Okay, so good.
And already, like, as a 10-year-old, you know, thinking, oh, okay, so I see that person, kind of looks like me, very cool, very eclectic, and and there is space for that individual in the music industry, you know, flourishing. And obviously I saw you from the outside,
Yes.
but what was it like being in that space, and did you ever feel like there was, like, the question for me that there was this weight on your shoulders to be the representation, because there were the two bands that were kind of this multicultural Rainbow Nation vibe.
Yeah.
Mango Groove and Freshly Ground. And this was this idea that we had that we are a multiracial, we all love one another. We all go, you know, watch the rugby and celebrate when the Bokke win at someone's house to braai.
Yeah.
But obviously there was a lot more behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows 2006, it's problematic as fuck. So what was it like to actually be in that space at that time?
Sure. Big questions. I'll answer the representation kind of thing. You know, I was just living my life, eh? Freshly Ground itself was, I'll tell you how I came into Freshly Ground is I was jolling. I was studying at drama school.
Okay.
I was in my second year, and this guy saw I was in a play and I sang in the play, and he had just started. He just like, you know, he worked at fucking Exclusive Books.
Okay.
Played piano. There's this other guy that he worked with at Exclusive Books for like a year before he realized the other guy played guitar. So they started just jamming. They made a flautist. They jammed. They made another violinist. And they jammed. And they were just like playing. And so when this first guy saw me in this play, he was like, she's got a nice voice. He said, come and check out our gig in OBS, Touch of Madness. On Friday. So I go check out the gig. All spliffed up, my dreads, big like orange, like traditional Xhosa skirt, beads in my hair, you know, like totally free. Not expecting anything. Check out the gig. Yeah, it was cool. There's like a lot of my like UCT drama school buddies there. He calls me up onto the stage. It's like, there's a girl I saw in this play, you know, like, do you want to come up here and sing?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So I went up, and that was my beginning of my journey with Freshly Ground.
Wow.
So what I want to say to you is like, it's like there is like I've heard over the years this idea of like a put togetherness kind of thing, you know, like Jewish girl, violinist, you know, this black singer, like these white guys, and later this like cuddling.
Thank you so much to my wonderful guest for the conversation. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have. If you have enjoyed it as much as we have, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you would like to see more of this content.